Okay, guys. Today I got a bus on a bus lane, a commercial bus lane. Uh, it could be any port. Every port runs kind of different. Primarily, you have a building and a drop off and a pickup, and between there's immigration, customs, agriculture, uh, uh, even social services could be available to inspect you also. And so when you actually get dropped off. And there's so much commotion, so much going on that it's a big distraction. A big distraction meaning people can try to get through unauthorized actual areas. They can actually just walk to the actual from the actual drop off to the pickup without actually anybody noticing. And uh, they've changed them now, but before it was not a big gap between the entrance and the exit. It was less than half a building, so it was primarily pretty close. So if you were fast enough and you were able to sneak off through the actual through the side of the actual building, you can get across, and then you just get picked up by the actual bus on the actual exit sign. And the majority of the time, the actual bus drivers were actually in cahoots. They were actually aware of the situation, and they just played off like they didn't know anything. And it's primarily your word against them. Um, at the end of the day, they are responsible for every actual passenger and every actual item that you're actually bringing on that bus. But I mean, it could it'd be hard to prove if that he was actually in it. You know what I mean? And so you just had to be you had to have a lot of actual uh, reflexes to to actually react to different types of actual scenarios. You have you have people that will run on you. You have people that would actually sneak through, or people that would actually hide in the bus, supposedly without the bus driver knowing. And it's just different scenarios. So you always had to be on your toes in that area. And there was no fence, there was no kind of barricade, and they would just get in through the actual the side of the building. You can see the the red characters I have on there. That's how primarily they would actually sneak on through. Okay, now for this bust. Foreman indicted for trying to smuggle drugs on bus. A foreman is scheduled for a detention hearing as of this past March, uh, with allegations that he attempted to conceal three different controlled substances inside a commercial bus bound for the U.S. This actual 46-year-old is is a FAR resident, allegedly attempted to smuggle a total of more than 7 kilos of the controlled substances through the Juarez Lincoln International Bridge in Laredo. This past February, he was a passenger on a commercial bus. During the inspection of the bus, U.S. Customs scanned the luggage and noticed anomalies in a cardboard box later determined to be this 46-year-old's records show. A K-9 unit then positively alerted officers about the presence of a control of contraband, and law enforcement determined the box belonged to this 46-year-old. A search of the box revealed a total of 9 packages, all which allegedly tested positive for cocaine, meth, and heroin. In all, officers determined he allegedly had more than 4 kilos of cocaine, a little more than 2 kilos of heroin, and nearly 1.5 kilos of meth. That's that's a very expensive load. Um, it's not going to be cut. It's going to be probably 95%. But he took his chances. He took his chances, and I don't think he was planning on. Okay, so I worked quite a bit, quite a long time um, through the bus lanes. Um, the way it works is a a bus is considered a vessel, and that captain of that vessel is that actual driver of that bus and the actual bus line. To run international, you pretty much have to be a big player in the actual transportation business of people, commercial. Um, and with bases on the south side and on the north side to maintenance, to clean, and to maintain these actual buses in well working condition and clean conditions too. It's it's very convenient. It's very actual helpful to have these services for the fact that you have elderly that don't drive anymore that want to get across the border with a couple of luggage bags for to visit in-laws or to visit kids on the U.S. or the South Side, depending on where you're coming from, or seasonal workers too. So uh, basically how it works is anything on that vessel, the actual driver's responsible for it technically, but it could also be dismissed as an attempt from either maintenance, a cleaning crew that's in cahoots with somebody on the north side. Um, for example, load up a couple of packages, load up a couple of people, small enough people, and in the back of the seats, tucked in, and if you're not going to walk all the actual, if you're not going to walk all the aisles all the way to the back, which a lot of agents don't, you can have a couple of bodies tucked in the seats back there, and you can get the actual, you can get them across and get a few thousand for that, for actually smuggling them, and the driver could just say, I didn't know they were back there. They got in. That's the way I received the bus. It could be worked out. He can make up a lot of excuses, and technically, you don't really have the actual evidence, even though he is responsible for everything in that bus. You just kind of give him the benefit of the doubt. And so this guy wasn't actually trying to attempt that. He was actually um, carrying in his luggage, right? So, but I don't know exactly. I've never worked that exact port, but well, how it usually works is the bus will leave you at one entrance, and you have to actually disembark the actual bus, gather your actual suitcases. Doesn't matter how heavy they are. Doesn't matter how many there are. If you're trying to cross that actual luggage, any kind of actual supplies, you are still responsible for actually bringing them across. If you're coming walking, you can either hire a porter. They have a dolly and they'll help you actually wait through the duration of the line and help you bring it across. But when it comes to bus, you're pretty much on your own. Now the bus driver tends to actually help you out with a couple of boxes. That's fine, everything, but you're still responsible to take out all your luggage and if depending if someone's running the X-ray machine, it could be the agriculture, it could be customs. They can actually run it through the X-ray machine. If there's no one available, they can actually run canines. If that's not available, an actual inspector can actually go through your luggage, and go through your actual boxes and just kind of go through the actual your um, your personal belongings. To tell you the truth, and you always have to be careful because more than often, people travel with their actual with their sex toys. You know what I mean? And it's embarrassing for everybody, and hopefully they'll give you the heads up and hey, I got this right, and you just look out for it. You kind of just brush it aside, but it does happen a lot. And so if he were to have just left some of the packages, like tucked underneath the seat or in the bathroom, anywhere where it could be concealed, um, that would have just been confiscated, and they would have just been, you know, um, undetermined who they actually belong to. But nowadays, actually, they're pulling DNA and they're actually pulling fingerprints off these actual packages to connect these individuals with the actual with contraband. So you have to also work in that factor. That yeah, was before my time. DNA wasn't that readily available to testing for that. It was around because they took our DNA without even us knowing about it. To tell you the truth, and so for these type of actual bus lanes, this is a very very rare and very risky, and it was a big loss for somebody. It was a big loss. It was money wise and merchandise wise. It was a big big hit for somebody in just one bus. Okay, guys, don't forget to like subscribe.